morning. It's Tuesday. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. If you're not, stick around. We're going to help you out with that.
It's going to get better, folks.
It is.
It can't get worse. It just started. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you had a morning already.
Am I still puffy?
No, you're good.
Okay, here's folks. Here's what I do. I like look on your face. I like white noise when I go to bed at night, and I had bad insomnia last night. So I actually had my phone very close to me while I was listening to my white noise trying to fall asleep, and I was tossing and turning. Well, guess who tossed and turned his phone right out of the charger? I got a hair somewhere. Anyway, my eyes opened at 7:30 this morning. I'm supposed to be here at 7.
Yeah, I wasn't panicking though. I was fine.
So I haven't shaved. My eyes are puffy. Does anybody notice? No.
No, you look awesome.
How's my breath? No, just kidding. Sorry I was late, Luann.
Oh, that's all right. You know what? I was just a little bit nervous. I was starting to think, okay, so how am I going to do this all by myself?
You've done it by yourself before. You know you can do it without me.
No, it's called banter. That means two people. Yeah. Banter by yourself is a little stupid.
Oh really. My goodness. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
I haven't even had a chance to ask
you. You know what? I'm doing awesome today.
Good.
I had a lousy sleep as well.
See, what is it?
So we're here to just pick you up. If you had a lousy sleep, it happens, right?
It happens.
And then sometimes it just
sometimes you sleep through your alarm.
Yeah, it happens. You know,
just life goes on.
Hey, you know what?
No, I don't know.
Avril Lavigne has announced that she's doing her first tour in 5 years since she was diagnosed with Lyme disease. Boy, it took her and her body through a journey. My goodness,
does that mean
5 years.
Did she get bitten by a tick?
Yeah,
that's how that happens.
Yeah, that's how that happens. And she talks about how she felt like she was drowning at certain points. Her body was just working against her, and it was just horrible. Thing is, though, she's doing the first tour, as I mentioned, and she's doing 15 North American dates.
Okay.
1 Canadian stop.
Why?
Right?
Why just 1?
I don't know.
Oh,
and it's not Sault Ste. Marie.
Shocker.
I know. But, like, seriously? Why only 1? You're our Canadian girl.
Oh.
Is that weird?
Who's her manager?
Don't know.
Well, we have to have a talk with them.
Yeah, you call them, Tim.
I will.
I'll stand by.
Okay, so I was watching this thing last night that I'd never seen before while I was trying to fall asleep. Maybe that's why I didn't fall asleep, because I was watching stuff. You're not supposed to watch stuff in your bed if you're trying to fall asleep. It's this thing, and it's okay. So singers watch people cover their tunes. Have you ever seen this?
No.
It's some magazine with a pink name. Anyway, I wasn't paying attention to the magazine, but so for instance, I watched Kelly Clarkson, and they put a laptop in front of them. Okay. And they videotape them, and while they watch the laptop, they get to watch somebody, like a YouTuber, an unknown,
just somebody
doing a cover of their song.
And this is a show?
It's a web series, like from a magazine, though, through some magazine, not Elle Vogue, something like that. But anyway, so I watched Kelly Clarkson. I was really sleepy. I couldn't sleep. Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson. Pink was the best. Pink's responses.
She's awesome. Was she cool?
There was one girl who was so amazing, and Pink was like, "Well, that's just not fair."
Really?
And then what happens?
I'd love to watch that.
Then what happens is after they've watched it, and Jennifer Hudson was like, I'm gonna steal that lip, child. Then they turn to the camera and they address the person, and then they contact the person, and the person gets to watch the celebrity.
Oh my gosh!
Critique their performance.
So you're online? Did you Google this?
Yes.
So what did you Google?
I didn't. It just sort of came up in the right-hand side.
Right.
And I was looking for, because I'm still we're searching for a show to direct for the Comedy Guild in the spring.
Yes.
So I'm doing a lot of searching for musical numbers and stuff. And so somehow that sort of popped into my feed kind of thing on the right-hand side of YouTube.
Isn't that interesting?
And I thought, that's interesting. Pink watching her. Yeah, I'll show it to you.
I would love to watch that. I would watch that like weekly.
That's the kind of thing I kind of got a little addicted last night.
Yeah, see, that's what happens. Then before you know it, it's like 3 in the morning.
But that's not what I was doing till 3. That was earlier. That was like 11:30. But anyway.
Even that's too late, young man.
I was watching Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, I wonder why.
He had E. Jean Carol on.
Ooh.
The lady who's accused Trump, the advice columnist. Is that what she does? She's an advice columnist?
Yeah.
She's an interesting character. Yeah. She said, I stopped watching right after she said that she thinks that most people think that rape is a sexy thing. So here's, okay, so she's...
Hey, you're not helping yourself or anyone else.
She was telling the story about how she really doesn't know Trump. There's a picture of them in public. That was it. She said that was the one time. They were not friends. They didn't know each other. She was this person in New York. He was a larger than life figure in New York. She said Donald Trump was a kind of guy back in the 90s, mid 90s. Everybody knew him. He was a fun guy to hang around. He was larger than life, celebrity, you know, mouthpiece, whatever. He was funny. He was anyway, so he approaches her in Bergdorf, as she says, I'm looking for lingerie. And I'm wondering...
she's working at Bergdorf?
No, she was a customer.
What?
She was shopping at Bergdorf Goodman's in New York.
I thought she was working there.
No, and he approached her and said, I want to buy something for a woman friend of mine, and I could use your advice. And he says, and what do you think? And something like, then they got talking about underwear, so they go to lingerie together. So they were complete strangers. Even though that they'd met before, but he wouldn't remember.
No.
So they go up to the lingerie department and they start joking around. He says, what about this? And he says, I'd like to, you're about her size. You want to try it on kind of thing? And she's like, I think you should try it on. And then they start joking about him trying on the lingerie. What she said to Anderson Cooper was, she said, I thought this would be a huge joke. If I could convince Donald Trump to put on a pair of ladies' lingerie, I could go back to all my friends and say, guess who I ran into at Bergdorf Goodman? Donald frickin' Trump. And I got him to put on. She thought it'd be a great story to tell. Not thinking anything of sexual, like, it was
that sounds very flirtatious, though, that conversation.
And she's like, you know, she actually said to Anderson Cooper, you know, to see Donald Trump's penis through some lacy underwear, I thought it'd be pretty funny. She said that. So
she's heard about him before.
Oh, that's good. So then they go into the thing together, and she thinks she's going in for him to try on. Well, then he slams the door, and he bangs her head against the thing. And the rest of the story we've probably heard. He opens her coat dress. He pulls down her tights.
Rapes her.
He rapes her. About 3 minutes, she said. And she said, I thought the whole thing was over in 3 minutes. He actually inserted his penis into her vagina, she says. Part way or all the way, I'm not sure, she said. Anyway,
not good if you can't tell.
So she said that it was, and she said it was violent. It wasn't pleasant. It was not. There was nothing sexy about it. And Anderson Cooper said, "Well, I think that most people would say that rape is an act of violence," and she said, "No, I think most people think rape is sexy. You know, like in fantasies." And Anderson Cooper said, "We'll be right back after this word. Will you talk some more, Jean?" And she said, "I'd love to. You're very interesting."
Oh.
And I was like, I can't watch anymore.
Gosh, I gotta wash my hands.
The whole thing was just bizarre.
And you know what? What the heck is she thinking?
And she said,
going into a change room with a man that she doesn't know. I mean, she knows him, but she knew of him.
She didn't think that Donald Trump would rape her.
But okay,
she thought he'd try on lingerie.
So there's, you know, what's like. So he's got to at some point take his pants off if he's going to try the lingerie on. So you're going to see his bare bum. So like, what are you going in there for? Right?
That's what she said. I don't feel like a victim, she said, because she was, anyway, I don't know. The whole thing is so sketchorama right now. I don't even understand anymore. This whole world has got me upside down.
Olivia Munn was on The View, and she was talking about the latest sex accusation against Trump, and she talked about how it's so important to have proof, because they were discussing the Me Too and all of that, and why it's still such an issue. And she was saying, we need to have proof. People need to have proof. She said, like, when you go to a newspaper with a story, it's vetted, and they look for sources, and you know, they legitimize it as much as they can. But she said proof is what's needed. So she thinks that's what the problem with the Me Too is.
Even with proof sometimes, though, because I just watched the documentary last night about Larry Nassar and the gymnastics scandal. Oh, there is something.
What a pig!
HBO has a documentary.
Really?
Check it out. It's brilliant, and you find out how many girls. Oh my gosh.
He is.
And you hear the stories, and how he was, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting banter.
Yeah, wasn't it though?
Who's on the show this morning, Luann?
I don't know, Tim, but I would like to say
I'll tell you, our first guest is, it's a continuation from yesterday's show. June is Brain Injury Awareness Month. And so yesterday we featured 2 interviews from the Brain Injury Awareness Association. And today we have a 3rd interview, and this one is with a brain injury survivor. Very interesting. That's coming up right after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
Mios is Canadian through and through. And to celebrate Canada's birthday, Mios is offering 20 to 50% off all Canadian-made furniture. Mios knows supporting Canadian jobs, Canadian ideals, and Canadian designers is the right thing to do. And saving you 20 to 50% is a great way to celebrate Canada Day. Now, more than ever, is the time to buy Canadian and to support your local stores. Mios Furniture Fashions. Service before and after the sale. 261 Trunk Road. Where else, eh?
With over 45 years of experience, All Ontario Well Drilling offers hydrofracking and all well drilling services. Call 705-575-8088 or 705-257-9495.
At Maitland Ford Lincoln, we see our trucks everywhere. We see them on Queen Street, Lake Street, North Street, Bay Street, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th line, Pine Street, Great Northern Peoples Road, Wellington, Cora Road, Bruce Street, Carmen's Way, Northern Ave, Trunk Road. Folks come from all over Algoma District and beyond to buy their truck at Maitland Ford Lincoln. Amazing prices, outstanding service. King Street, Shannon Road, Goulet Bay, Black Road, Government Road, and even on Pine Shores. Yep, our trucks are everywhere. Get yours at Maitland Ford Lincoln, built for Northern life, on Great Northern Road, just north of the hospital.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim, and I am on location in beautiful downtown Sault Ste. Marie with Phil sitting here. It's Brain Injury Awareness Month this June, and here we are, a Brain Injury Association of Sault Ste. Marie District. Now, your affiliation is you're a survivor, correct?
Yes.
Phil, I know nothing about your story. Will you share it with me now?
Sure.
Okay.
A little over 3 years ago, I was in a car accident. So basically, when I woke up the next day, it was, in bed, can't move.
Really?
Just a lot of pain.
You mean like were you partially paralyzed or?
No, you just the muscle.
Okay.
So then, as time goes on, and I get up and you look at things and like the stove, and you say, "How do you use this?" The microwave, the dishwasher, yeah.
So wait a minute. What did you look at the stove and think I should know how to use that, but I don't?
Yeah, I recognize it. I mean, the dials were pretty straightforward, but I mean, everything's digital now, eh? So
right.
How do you turn the oven on?
That must have freaked you out.
Oh yeah.
So what did you do?
It takes time.
Yeah.
My wife showed me everything again.
Were you assessed at that point? Did they do an assessment to figure out what it was, what the injury entailed, or what the extent of it was?
No. So, because I could walk and talk, well.
Yeah. They figured it wasn't that
serious, but as time's gone on, well, I basically realized I was learning how to walk again.
Is that a common thing that it happens later sometimes? The injury shows up later, or it is, eh?
Yeah, I would imagine so, because once the muscles healed.
I'm looking at some of the folks from the Brain Injury Association, and they're nodding yes, saying that is common, that the injury manifests itself later on.
Yeah, because when
Here, come over here, slide over. You can join us. First of all, let's have you introduce yourself. We have an impromptu guest, Phil. Is that okay with you?
No.
You don't mind sharing your space?
It's the script. We're going script.
We're going off script. Introduce yourself.
Phil. My name's Chantal Scopacasa, and I'm with the Brain Injury Association of Sault Ste. Marie.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us what you were going to say now there about.
Well, right after your injury, they're usually more focused on physical problems that the survivor is experiencing in the hospital. And it's not until they get back into their home life that they really notice they're unable to do things that they used to be able to do.
Whoa. So now your wife, how did she handle that? I mean, that must have been tough on her too.
Oh, absolutely. Like looking at me and seeing what I'm going through. Like I didn't see that part of it, you know.
Right.
I'm just learning things again.
And the physicality now, I see you have a cane now.
Yes.
Well, when you first recovered from the injuries, what was your ability to get around?
Walking with a cane, but very slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
A lot of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has there been an association between you and the Brain Injury Association? Are there services that they've helped you with, or have they acted as a liaison or what, a support? How?
The support.
Yeah.
There's the peer support group.
There is. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm just starting.
Okay.
I've been in contact with my peer support worker.
Yeah.
And if you go through a spot where you're having trouble, because to talk to my wife, she hasn't gone through what I've gone through. Whereas usually the peer support worker has gone through it and has gone through the different stages.
Is this something that you do? You pair people up?
Yes. Yeah. So it's the peer support program. It involves mentors and partners. It's also available to caregivers and along with survivors. So usually the partners would be a newly injured individual or someone who's just really struggling through their injury. And I will pair them with a mentor who is someone who's doing very well further along in their injury. And it's a 1-hour phone call once a week. And it's not, I don't match them in town. It's usually just within Ontario. So they don't have to worry and be embarrassed that they're going to see them out somewhere. And I think it just really helps people open up a bit more over the phone.
Like you said, it's shared lived experience that you're sharing with somebody, right? Yes. What would you say would be something that, if you wanted to give a message to people who are watching, who might have any misconceptions or preconceptions about people with brain injuries, is there a message that you'd like people to understand about what your life is like now and what, as a member of this community, you wish people would know?
The support is there. You have to have someone find it for you. I worked with a social worker. I'm still working with a social worker. That was key.
Yeah.
So this peer support is like a social worker, because if you can't afford a social worker.
What about, sorry to cut you off, what about that as far as finances go? Is there a cost to people like Phil, who's a brain injury survivor who wants to get No?
It's completely free. So the mentor would be the one who does the call.
Okay.
The survivor, the partner, would not have the mentor's phone number at all. Okay. And we provide the mentor who is doing the long distance calling with a phone card. So it's not cost out of their pocket. Yeah. And then Phil also attends our survivor support groups that I run once a month.
Where do you run those?
Here.
Norpro offers, right now we're in the Norpro office downtown, and so Norpro gives you this space.
Yes.
They free of charge.
Yeah, Brad's really helped me out a lot.
Brad Gregorini, thank you.
Yeah, he's been great. He gives me his boardroom whenever I need it, like today, for example. Mm-hmm. And so I run the support group meetings in here. They're open to the public, and again, caregivers are welcome to attend. Okay. Sometimes I have guest speakers. Oh. Sometimes I just focus on a subject that the attendees have talked about struggling with. I'll bring some information and talk to them about it.
So you have a chance then also to say, this is something that's come up in my life, or...
Exactly. Actually, Michelle, that was part of our group, she moved to Sudbury. Yeah. When she finally opened up, I had a chance to talk to her, because when you meet new people, it was like I was standing in front of a mirror and relating my experience. All the things she went through, I was going through.
Wow, that's got to mean an awful lot to you to hear that somebody else is...
Yeah, it does. She told me about the hearing aids they pronounce it tinnitus at the audiologist, but everybody else calls it tinnitus. Yeah.
Which is a constant noise in your ears, right?
Yes. that was the one thing that if I could have got rid of, I would love to, but this masks it. It doesn't.
It's what you have to learn to live with.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's wild. Okay, go on.
what would you say? It's a hit and miss. It doesn't work for everybody.
Right, okay.
But mine was so intense that anything
Would be better than what you were going through.
Yeah, like I could not go to sleep without some kind of white noise.
It's absolutely debilitating. I know. I have a friend actually who's in her work environment. It's a lot of special, and that's the thing, making arrangements, making accommodations for people, right? Removing barriers, right, Phil?
Yes, removing barriers.
That's a big part of, because it's quality of life for you.
Yes, yeah.
So how would you say your quality of life, now this is pretty recent, 3 years is not a long time ago to have gone through this.
I'm a rookie.
But your outlook seems to be really great. I mean, just having walked into this room and I met you, and right away I can tell that you have a really positive personality. Is that a big part of your recovery, do you think, is your outlook? And what would you say?
Yeah, I guess it was instilled in me from the beginning, from all my caregivers, whether it was the chiropractor to physio, to my wife, my sister. Mm-hmm. God bless my sister. She took care of me because she does a crazy shift at the Finnish rest home, 4 to 11. So she was there during the day for me. And then when my wife would get home from work or my daughter was home. So I had that support. Mm-hmm. If I was left alone all day to think about the things I was thinking about, it's hard. You have to deal with the acceptance, and you have to grieve everything you lost. Grieve it. Get it out. That's the biggest thing. So I lost a lot. Like, I'd go from working to playing, in the same day, working to playing hockey, and, playing hockey 3 times a week, and now to watching Family Feud or Chain Reaction to try and watch word games to bring back words.
Whoa.
So, just stuff like that. Yeah, it's amazing.
The things you take for granted. Would you say then would be one of the most important things to you, one of the most important lessons you've learned as you work through this recovery, as you continue to work through your recovery?
The positive attitude. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your highs and lows,
right? But
don't go too low. You know what I mean? But you have to work through it. You have to. I had so many things happening in my life after my accident that I didn't want to miss. My daughter got married. My son got married. First grandchild.
Wow.
In the last 3 years. So I had those things to look forward to. So you have something to look forward to. You put that there.
Their story of their life with brain injury on a mask, like using art, color, emotions, and all that stuff, because you're unmasking brain injury. Right. It's an invisible injury.
I would think that's probably a difficult situation too, because do you ever have to find yourself, I know for instance, my mother had dementia, okay? And the Alzheimer's Society gave us these cards so that if I was ever out with my mother in a restaurant or somewhere, and maybe my mother might be behaving a certain way that may make the server go, I could give this card to the server explaining, my mother has dementia and, blah, 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 It's a similar kind of thing that maybe people may not understand, but that there is sort of a barrier or whatever that they can't see. So is there a similar situation there where you can identify with the cards?
I think we did at one point in the past have some sort of cards. Mm-hmm. We did like a helmet program with cards, right. But
what about community awareness? I mean, just letting people know what's out there. I mean, are there awareness programs or learning programs or you know what I mean?
You've got to dig in.
You got to dig in.
Yeah, March of Dimes has been huge for me.
Yeah.
Chantel.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Ovaya, yes.
All right.
One other thing, though, it took me 6 months to say to myself, I should be at one of these meetings. When I finally, came down to it, and I was coming to the meeting in January, and I didn't go. And then February, March, and then there was one last meeting they said before the summer break. So I'll go to that one, and it got canceled.
Can I ask you, was it fear, pride? What was it?
I think it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
With 3 brands to choose from Kawasaki, Suzuki, and CF Moto, visit one of our 4 showrooms today and speak with our knowledgeable, friendly, and enthusiastic staff who will be happy to help you with all of your motorsports needs.
Enjoy life, enjoy the ride. Bud Robinson Motorsports.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatzoo.ca.
Luann, did you want to thank somebody in the previous... I didn't even hear you say, I want to thank. I just barreled on. I'm sorry I stepped on.
Are you talking to me? Is he saying something?
Hey, who's sponsoring the show this month?
KC Security, thank you so much, you guys. We really appreciate the sponsorship.
We do, and I'm sorry I stepped on Luann trying to thank you. Hey, ho, Tom Holland. You didn't know that name, neither did I.
No.
He's a cutie patootie. He's the Spider-Man from Marvel. He's imagine this. He's a British actor. He signed a 6-picture deal with Marvel. Not comics. They have Marvel movies. Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
So I guess he's already done a couple. And he also was in Avengers Endgame. Never saw it. But anyway, Tom Holland is his name. I guess he's a big deal because he was in New York City signing autographs, cordoned off area. All right. Crowd gets a little pushy. Young girl getting crushed. Having a panic attack.
Oh no.
3 guys. There he is. That's Tom Holland. That's Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
So the way that they're described by the young lady herself was they were 3 grown-ass men. And they're pushing, and she's crushing her. And so Tom Holland, I guess, warns them. He threatens them. He says, I'm going to throw your shit on the ground if you keep pushing her.
Wow.
And they kept pushing. He took their posters and he threw it on the ground. He would not sign. He said, "Stop pushing her." He took their posters away,
Good for
threw them on the
him.
ground. Came to Spider-Man to the rescue.
Why in the heck are three grown men?
Crushing a little girl. Well, she was teenage.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody calls you out on it.
I said,
I'd be so embarrassed.
Stop pushing. And they kept on pushing her and crushing her. And she was having a panic attack.
And then they went,
"Thank you, Tom Holland, Spider-Man."
I bet you wish you could be Spider-Man. Right?
No.
I would swing all over. I'd like bump slide right in. Like, oh yeah, imagine a bump slide Thursday if you had webs. Woo!
Where are your webs coming from when you're bum sliding? Oh.
From my hair.
Because where do spiders really throw their webs from? If he were really like a Spider-Man?
Their bum.
This is what I'm saying. I'd like to see a Spider-Man movie where he actually throws the web from his butt crack.
I bet you would. No one else would, but Tim would.
I think it'd be funny to watch him like flying around with and then
like this.
What about when the criminals come up? Hey.
Oh, jeez.
And he spins her web. Spider-Man.
It's gone down.
Spider-Man.
Just like it took that long. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back with news coming up for you, local and other, right after this. Stay with us. Mornings with Lou and Tim.
As a nation, Canada has participated in all of the major world conflicts. In the Sault area alone, over 10,000 men and women have enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces. The Veterans Commemorative Monument aims to cement the legacy of the Canadian Armed Forces in stone. It will highlight the bravery, strength, courage, and sacrifice of our servicemen and women. In times of need, they volunteered to serve us. Now it is our time to thank and recognize their sacrifice. You can help honor our men and women of service by donating today. To help construct this special, one-of-a-kind monument, visit thosewhoserve.ca to find out how to donate and more.
Since 1899, the Machine Shop has been a unique space for innovation and creativity. Once a leading pulp and paper company, the Machine Shop was built by Francis H. Clerg, which later became part of St. Mary's Paper in 1984. After the closure of St. Mary's Paper in 2011, the Machine Shop spent 4 years vacant. In 2015, the Machine Shop reopened their doors to the community for the first time. From weddings to galas to concerts and festivals, the one-of-a-kind venue has something for everyone. We are proud to work with the community and local nonprofits to host major events such as Festival of Trees, Pearls and Plaid, an evening at Hogwarts, and more. While you're here, wind down at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar for a quiet dining experience, or watch a game and try a wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room. Don't forget to save room for house-made gelato and baked goods at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop events, history, and restaurants, visit machineshopinc.ca. 3 great places, 1 historic venue.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night.
Alive! It's alive!
Have been our best weather-wise, that did not stop OFRA from putting on their annual celebration of Juhannas. The national holiday in Finland is used to usher in the summer solstice, and ONNtv cameras captured the festivities.
We're at the Ontario Finnish Rest Home Association, specifically in the Kotitalo Assisted Living Residence, where the Juhannus celebration is currently happening. That's the celebration for the beginning of summer in Finland and many other countries too. We're inside today because, of course, it's raining today, so we couldn't do it at any other time. It's extremely important. It's a major holiday in Finland. It marks the oncoming of summer, as I said. In Finland, in the summertime, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot more holiday time being taken. People go off to their cottages or their camps, celebrate with lots of bonfires and lots of other activities. And not just in Finland either. This is the oncoming of summer celebrated in many, many countries, but in particular in Finland, because as you know, the winters there can be long and cold and harsh, and the oncoming of summer is very important.
It's a holiday, as I said, for the sun and for fertility and crops and good growth, and then music and celebration, having a good time. The young people used to make crowns for their heads and put them on their pillow and dream about their future husband years ago. We're going to have a parade with the costumes. I'm wearing a national costume, and these used to be very popular in Finland, and they still are. Then there will be music, there will be food, it will be a barbecue, and there will be sausages, and then there'll be dancing.
The Huron Superior Catholic District School Board will have a new superintendent of education as of August 1st. Christine DeRoche was hired by the board in 1997 when she began her career as a teacher at Holy Angels Learning Center. DeRoche went on to teach at 2 more schools until 2008 when she became vice principal at Our Lady of Lourdes. Since August 2011, DeRoche has served as principal for 4 different schools, most recently with St. Mary's French Immersion. Rogers Media is cutting an unspecified number of off-air jobs across its Sportsnet organization after letting go of star broadcaster Bob McCown last week after 30 years as host of the afternoon program Primetime Sports. A Sportsnet representative says the company isn't saying publicly how many off-air people are affected or what types of work they do, but an emailed statement says Sportsnet is repositioning for the future by changing how it delivers content to audiences. The Sportsnet brand is used across several Rogers Media platforms, including radio, television, and online. According to the most recent Rogers quarterly report issued in April, its media division lost about $84 million over the first 3 months of this year after excluding taxes and other expense items. The group that organizes Toronto's annual Pride Parade has apologized for displaying a land acknowledgement that failed to mention any of Canada's Indigenous communities. Pride Toronto faced sharp criticism online over the sign, which encouraged attendees to connect with the land they were on. But many pointed out that the land acknowledgement, which is supposed to recognize the Indigenous communities who were displaced by European settlers, did not mention that Toronto is located on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. The only reference to First Nation, Métis, and Indigenous communities in the acknowledgement was the inclusion of the Ojibwe phrase Chimigwich, meaning thank you. A brush fire burned 86 cars at a CarMax automobile dealership in Bakersfield, California. Authorities received reports yesterday afternoon of several grass fires erupting, possibly caused by a big rig dragging a chain or some other object that created sparks and ignited the tinder-dry brush. The fire department says the blaze destroyed 26 cars and damaged 60. The Bakersfield Californian says the total loss is put at $2.1 million. Firefighters fought about 20 acres of brush and grass fires. CarMax employees were evacuated and no injuries are reported.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today, we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5, and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Wanted to let you know what's happening with Meghan and Harry, because I know you're just hanging on every move.
She calls them Meghan and Harry because they're like this. This is Meghan and Harry, this is Luann.
Yeah. No, this is Meghan and Harry, and this is Luann.
You're right in there, eh?
I'm right in there.
Like a dirty shirt. So what's going on with the royal couple?
They finally finished the renovations on Frogmore, and it's going to cost taxpayers $4 million.
Wait a second.
Say what?
The royal family has money.
Yes.
Don't they have like a bank account with money in it?
Apparently not. Not for things like this.
Why couldn't the Queen just sell off a couple jewels?
Well, apparently, because it's historic, it has to be maintained. So then the taxpayers get to pay for that. But Harry and Meghan paid for their own fixtures.
So it's kind of like if somebody actually lived in the old stone house, because
you'd have to maintain it.
City owns it. Or, I know. How about this? Like where the Prime Minister lives.
Right.
Sussex Drive, 24 Sussex Drive.
We pay to have that
renovated.
Same idea.
$4 million?
$4 million.
And they paid for their own fixtures.
Yeah, they paid for their own fixtures. Handles.
Not toilets, handles.
Handles, yeah, just the handle. They don't have toilets. They ran out of money.
Pardon me, I'm about to burp. I won't.
Well, thanks for that.
Okay. I'm having a terrible morning, Luann. I'm a terrible co-host.
Shall I say something else?
Go on.
Susan Boyle, remember her?
Okay.
Yes.
She's a terrible, terrible singer. She was on America's Got Talent.
Yes.
I know that she won.
Yes.
Have you ever listened to her since, Luann?
No, not since.
Go on. What's the story?
Never mind.
No, come on. Look at her. Look at those
She
eyebrows.
actually says that once things settle down for her a little bit, she would like to become a foster mother.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that
Settle
lovely?
down for her. Is she that busy?
Well, I you know what? When I read that headline, my first thought was, I haven't seen her since the show. But you can imagine she's been busy. She's had depression issues that she's had to deal with, and all kinds of different things. Well, she's from a very small, tiny little community, and she blew up huge.
Yeah, on the world stage.
Yeah, and just like it overwhelmed her for a time.
But then why did she audition?
I'm sure she had no idea she was gonna
win.
Like everybody knows Susan Boyle.
Win? She won.
Oh, yeah. Simon Cowell was like, and for him to do.
Okay, I'm gonna find a clip of Susan Boyle.
Just to make her sound bad. Aren't you nice?
To make her sound like she sounds, and then you can judge for yourself, because she sounds like she sounds. I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna play her for you, and you're gonna go.
So was she faking? How do you fake sounding that good?
No, she just was never a trained singer, and she sang those songs, and they were all like, "Oh, look at this mousy little British woman who opens her mouth, and this big voice comes out."
Right.
Well, that only lasts so long. When you go into singing as a career, you can't just be like, oh, she was a novelty. She was a novelty.
She was a novelty.
She was a novelty, and the novelty has worn off. So go be a foster mother. That's fabulous.
I'm sure she'll be thrilled you encourage that, Tim.
Rory Ring's coming up.
God bless him.
130 years he's been around. No, I'm just kidding. Chamber of Commerce.
This is crazy.
What?
Some great pictures,
Yeah,
huh?
we do have some great pictures. So that's coming up right after this break. Stay with us.
Stopping and nothing, I'm up in your face, shaking it off, no matter the cost. I'm feeling the wind, I'm taking it all. I'm paving the way with the sweat and the blood. I'm at the top, I'm rising above. I want the gold, give me the rush. Queen Midas, I got the touch. I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. 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 I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing.
Joined by Rory Ring right now from the Chamber of Commerce. As I was saying, you look good for being 130 years old, Rory.
That's good. Woke up this morning and didn't feel any more than 129.
You've been with the Chamber how many years now?
3.5 years now.
3.5 years?
3.5 years.
And today, tell us.
Today is the actual day which the Board of Trade was formed. And our first president just here, John Collins.
He's over my right shoulder there, John Collins.
Signed
1889. Yes?
Yes, exactly. On Tuesday, June the 25th.
Was it a Tuesday?
Yeah, it was a Tuesday.
That's freakish.
It is, and it's great.
So,
Absolutely.
How does a Chamber of Commerce become like a Chamber of Commerce? What did they have to do? Did they have to...
Well, there is actually a Board of Trade Act that legalizes the formulation of a chamber or a Board of Trade, but it really originated in 1889 by 40 business people getting together and saying that the rail had been completed in 1887 and said, we want to attract industry and help build our community, so we're going to get together as a group of people and form this Board of Trade so that we can go out and convince businesses to set up shop in Sault Ste. Marie.
And that's one of the roles of the Chamber to this day.
Absolutely. You know, when you go back and you look at the documentation, it really is focused on about how you build your community and create prosperity.
And then also protect your members.
And protect your members, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what's really interesting is you brought a list of some of the businesses that have been, I love history when it comes to this city. My family's been here, my great-grandparents were in Sault Ste. Marie, so I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4th generation Sault Ste. Marie.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Wow. My great-grandfather was a house builder. A lot of those houses on Cathcart Street, the red brick houses,
yes.
My grandfather, Charlie Mustache Murphy, we called him Grandpa Mustache because he had a mustache.
He may have been one of the founding fathers, you never know, because in the early times there was a movement by the Chambers of Commerce to address housing shortage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so they brought together a lot of the builders and the business people and to get lands, the Crown, to actually allow them to open up land so that they could be developed.
Well, and then also my grandfather, Charlie Murphy, CJ, his name was on the PUC building there because he was the commissioner of the PUC for about 25 years, so they named that building after him. But he worked at H.R. Lash. Now, is that what he was the men's clothing manager?
Absolutely.
Is that one of your businesses?
And we were just talking earlier that we're going to celebrate today, a number of businesses that have been creating prosperity in Sault Ste. Marie for over 100 years. And H.R. Lash is one of those. And I've got the list here. And,
Go ahead.
And some of these would have changed names, but had, the ownership as businesses are sometimes bought and sold, but had existed in our
business
community.
itself has existed as a chamber member.
So Algoma Insurance, Algoma Steel is 101, CIBC, H.R. Lash, the PUC Services, RBC, the YMCA, our local YMCA.
YMCA's been around for over 100 years.
Sioux Mill Build-All, Spadonis.
Sioux Mill is the Hollingsworth family.
Yes.
And actually, I believe that they've been members also with the Rotary Club. The Hollingsworths have been around for 95 years. Anyway, what else you got?
So the Sioux Star, the Marconi is 107, and we're having our celebration lunch there today, and it's also co-hosted with Algoma Steel. So
107.
107. Spadoni Furniture, Sioux Star, Wishart Law Firm.
Wishart Law Firm's been around for 100 years.
Bank of Montreal, Cliff Printing, Dawson Keenan, Great Lakes Power,
Shaw Milling,
the Sioux Golf Club, Sioux Tent.
Sioux Tent and awning.
Yeah, and it's really quite amazing because when you think about this, they've survived, 2 world wars, several recessions, and obviously one Great Depression. And you think about the changes that have happened, and even in the last 20 years with technology, how technology has changed the way you're doing business. It really is quite something.
And with the population of Sault Ste. Marie going up and down too, and
they had in 1913, the chamber had a challenge on to grow the population to 25,000.
In what year was that?
This was 1913.
Wow.
Yeah, so they didn't get there, I think, until the 30s, actually, when after Algoma Steel had really started to take off, but it really is interesting. The chamber in those days was very much involved in getting mail service delivered by the rail, and prior to the rail, it was delivered by a dog sled in the winter.
In Sault Ste. Marie, our mail was delivered by dog sled?
By dog sled in the wintertime and horseback in the summertime.
Well, I know that milk was delivered by a horse-drawn milk truck at one time. When that was my grandmother Murphy was alive back then, remember that story,
so they were involved in a lot of different things. It wasn't later on until I think later in the 30s where they started to focus on tourism.
Okay.
And when they did the tourism, you'll see that picture, that was the first tourism office in Sault Ste. Marie, basically.
A log cabin looking
cabin, all heated by, in those days, modern wood pellet heat. And then in the winter, when it got too cold, they moved back into the Windsor Arms.
Oh, they moved to the Windsor Park.
Yeah, Windsor Park. Sorry,
the Windsor. Well, at that time it was just called the Windsor Hotel. I think the Windsor Hotel, wasn't it? The Windsor Park Hotel. Yeah. There's some great photos too. You guys have some amazing photos. There's some of the parades in downtown Sault Ste. Marie back in the day, and some of the street shots. You can see the old buildings and the horse-drawn carriages and stuff. Oh, right behind you can see some of the old. So there's pictures too on the bottom on the screen there, bottom right-hand corner. You can see the building on the left-hand side of the street, which is the corner of East and Queen. It's only a 2-story building now, where Koch's Corners is. At one time it was a 3-story. They had a fire and they lost the top story, but it's still there.
It's quite amazing when you take a look at the history and most of these. When you take what we are today, and we have tourism, Sault Ste. Marie. We have the Sault Ste. Marie Economic Development Corporation.
Right.
None of that existed, and that was all a chamber catalyst that made that all happen.
Really?
Just those business people getting together to make sure that they're trying to build the economic opportunity in Sault Ste. Marie, and that continues today. We do it a little bit differently in terms of advocacy and talking with government to have business-friendly public policy, but we also do things like connect our members to revenue opportunities and money-saving programs for them, and just to be involved in making the community a better place to do business. And then obviously very much involved in national work and most recently the trade issues.
Well, and I was going to say, now this is if you're a large corporation a larger corporation, chances are you've got staff and you've got people that are designated for jobs like that.
Correct.
Whereas if you are an independent business or in a smaller center like Sault Ste. Marie, I mean, we're not a major city, we're a larger city in Northern Ontario, but we're by no means a major city. It's more difficult to find those links to those agencies, those revenue sources, and to have representation at the government level, right?
Absolutely, and that's why, you really have to be focused on listening to your membership and understanding what their needs are, and making sure that you have lines of communication into other organizations like the Ontario Chamber of Commerce and the Canadian
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, yes.
So you link us, I mean, you basically take all the businesses in Sault Ste. Marie that are members, and you are a link for them to, there's strength in numbers, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So if you're a small, like two-person business in Sault Ste. Marie, but you're a chamber member, you have the strength of the numbers of the people in the city behind you.
Absolutely.
And the other chambers across the country.
That's exactly it.
And that government representation as well.
Absolutely, and those things, when you take a look at, what was happening with the trade files and the tariffs, as I said, it's, we look at Algoma Steel, but at the end of the day, it's, it's like somebody like a Spadoni's or a Shaw Milling. That's where the majority of jobs and economy is created.
Right on.
And they're all linked to how well the economy does when you have a large corporation like Algoma Steel or Tenaris having some of the challenges they've been faced in the last couple of years.
Well, happy anniversary to the Chamber of Commerce, 130 years going strong. Plus, we have somebody from the Chamber coming back on, I believe, on Thursday. We're talking about the Bridge Walk, which is also a Chamber initiative.
Yeah, and I think that is 33 years old.
Amazing. Rory, thanks for being here this morning.
Tim.
And we'll be back with Luann right after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
My name is Clement. I am 17. I do have a little brother. He is 5 years younger than me, and despite the fact that we're both blind, we're just normal kids. Sibling rivalries and fights and arguments. Sometimes we play games together, yeah. I find most people tend to have this perception of blindness as a huge physical handicap.
Incoming!
Which it isn't.
CNIB, Seeing Beyond Vision Loss.
What do you wish for? A nice life? Nice things? Or do you wish for something more? A sense of purpose? Do you wish to discover a cure? To write code that cracks an unsolvable question? To further our exploration into space? Or to invent something that changes everything right here on Earth? Well, if that's your wish, make yourself ready. Because when you look back, you'll see that you didn't just make wishes, you realized them.
And I want to thank I want to thank KC Security also for sponsoring our show for this entire month. Thanks for being such great community members and support to ONNtv.
And thank you so much for watching. We certainly hope to see you tomorrow morning.
I promise I'll wake up early.
It's Wellness Wednesday tomorrow, and he's got lots planned. And I'll have the news. See you then.
Thank you.